Hey folks, Dr. Joe here, standing in for Mark today. Boy, I'm surrounded by celebrities here. We had Eric before me, and I'm standing in for Mark. Man, I feel very special tonight. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. If you're just tuning in, I've never heard my show. I do a show on Sunday nights here on WSB from 7 to 9. And I was just asking Chuck over there the music that Mark uses for his opening. Do you have any stories for me along the way? I don't know whether Charlie didn't have a story for me either, where the song came from or anything like that.
Mark just liked it and he pulled it off.
And that was
YouTube.
Yeah. I listen to it all the time, and I listen to the show, and it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
It means nothing.
Charlie said it means nothing, exactly right. So, and I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. I do a show on health and wellness here at WSB. So if you have any questions, open up the phone line right away. We only have an hour. Any questions on health and wellness, you can call 404-872-0750 or 1-800-WSB-TALK, 404-872-0750, or on my number, 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. And I'll take any healthcare question. You got 1 hour to pick my brain. So I was talking to Garrett, my producer. I have my own millennial. Everybody's got their own millennials. I got my own millennial. And we were talking before the show, and we want to cover news like Mark does, topics that are in the news. And one of the topics, Garrett, do you have the topics we talked about there?
Yeah, so one of them is the feds issue a new warning to doctors. Don't skimp too much on opioid pain pills.
Isn't that a kicker? All you've been hearing about now is what? Be careful with opioids. Don't get opioids. The doctors, my colleagues, are going nuts. They're afraid to prescribe opioids because they're afraid the feds are going to crack down on them for prescribing opioids. And then all of a sudden now, they're coming out and saying the doctors are going too far. What they're doing is they're saying, don't prescribe. You pull back a little bit. You can prescribe a few more than that. But here's the thing. On all the articles that I've read, all the news reports that you've heard, what's the one thing they never talk about? Getting to the cause of the pain instead of covering up the pain. And I cannot tell you, I've been in practice about 35 years. I'm a chiropractor. I've been in practice about 35 years. And patients, I can't tell you how many patients have come to me over the years and said, Dr. Joe, I'm taking opioids, I'm taking pain pills. And then we do an evaluation and we say, listen, maybe you have a bone out of place pinching a nerve. And that might be what's causing your pain. Maybe you have a muscle spasm, maybe you have digestive problems. And countless times, we treat the cause of the problem and not just treat the symptoms, and people are blown away. And many times, I'm friends with so many of their doctors now, because I call them up and say, hey, listen, I had Garrett come in, and he was on opioids, and we found a bone out of place in his neck and a bone out of place in his lower back. We did chiropractic care on him. We did nutritional work on him. And now the doctors become my friends, and they become some of my big referrers. They refer a ton of patients to us because they don't want to prescribe either. They realize that the pills are only covering up the symptom. And in many cases, we can get to the cause. Not always, but sometimes. And so it's worth a shot. I always tell people, I had a patient the other day, and she said, I'm trying to decide if I should get chiropractic care, if I should get surgery, what should I do? And I said, let's start out conservative. Let's go with chiropractic care. Let's go with fixing your digestive system. She had acid reflux, and we can actually adjust the stomach. We can pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. And we got her on a good diet. We got her on supplements like Dr. Joe Super Greens, Dr. Joe Essential Source, got her off the acid foods that irritate the nerves. And she was trying to decide. And I said, okay, chiropractic care is going to cost you X amount of dollars. Surgery, they wanted $80,000 for this surgery. Her copay was about $20,000. And I said, wouldn't you want to do a conservative approach first? And she said yes. And so we did it, and she got great results. So the fact that now they're saying, okay, you pulled back too far on the opioids, some people need opioids. I'm not saying they don't need them. If you're in severe pain, cancer pain, end-of-life pain, opioids, nothing works like it. But now we have CBD oil, we have chiropractic care. It's much better to try the conservative approach first. I'm going to start taking some calls now because the lines are lighting up already. The number here at the studio, 844-44-Dr.Joe or 404-872-0750. Let's jump right in with Josh. Josh, how can we make your day better today?
Hey, I got a question about sugars. You're always talking about sugars are bad for our immune systems and
Sure.
All these other things. What about fruits? If you eat a whole lot of fruits?
Okay, well, fruit's a little different because fruit has sugar in it, but fruit also has fiber in it. And what happens is the fiber slowly pushes the sugar through the colon, and two things happen. Number one, it pushes it through the colon. Number two, fiber can block up what's called the receptor sites in your colon, and so you don't absorb as much sugar. And then the third thing is fruit has nutrients in it to help counterbalance the sugar as well. If you're drinking fruit juice, it's like drinking pure sugar. When you eat the whole fruit, it's not that bad. So if you're diabetic, you want to monitor your blood sugar. But for the average person, you can have 3, 4, 5 pieces of fruit a day. Absolutely no problem at all.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. All right, folks, if you have a question, 844-44-Dr.Joe. We only got an hour today. Dave, how can we make your day better?
Doctor, I appreciate you taking my call.
You're welcome.
It happens maybe every 4 months or 6 months, but if I'm eating something tangy,
Like, for example, cranberries, or if I go out to a barbecue restaurant, get some ribs or something with real tangy barbecue sauce. I feel like I get maybe a salivary gland that just doesn't release, and the side of my face just kind of swells up.
Sure.
And it's embarrassing if I'm out at a restaurant and half my face is exploded. And,
sure.
But I don't know what that is. Someone said maybe a stone.
Absolutely, that was it. Yeah, you may have a stone in there. Your salivary glands produce saliva, and saliva is used to break down carbohydrates. So spit breaks down carbohydrates. Then the food passes into your stomach, where the stomach acids break down proteins. Passes from your stomach into your small intestine, where your pancreas kicks in and helps break down proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, and then your gallbladder kicks in and helps break down fats. So if you're having that situation, you might actually have some clogged glands. So when it happens again, see if you could feel where the problem is. Kind of pinch underneath your jawline there and squeeze in there and see if you feel something hard, and you might be able to massage the stone out, actually.
Okay, so is the stone always there and just occasionally, or does it recreate?
Salivary release. So when it happens, just poke around and see if you could feel it pop. If you feel the stone, you might be able to massage it out of the duct, and that might solve the problem.
Okay,
that works. So what? Great.
I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Dave. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, standing in for Mark. If you're first time tuning in, I'm board certified in chiropractic, also board certified in orthopedics, pain management, double board certified in nutrition, BS in nutrition, retired dietitian. And my Sunday night show here on WSB, I believe, is the #1 health and wellness radio show in the world. We're syndicated all over the world, which is kind of fun. So if you like what you're hearing today, go Sunday night, tune in, 7 to 9. What's our show going to be on? We're going to be heart disease, right? Is that our topic today?
Yeah, we're talking about heart disease and the things that you didn't know that could cause it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about, we all know about diet and heart disease, but we're going to talk about the things you don't know. Things like loud noises, plastic, things like that can actually increase your risk of heart disease. Really good show, and it's a lot of fun. And on my website, we have over 1,000 hours of podcast, too. It's drjoe.com. Let's take some more callers here. Tom, how can we make your day better?
I just had a comment from you. I called a couple months ago on the diabetic special. As soon as following your advice, I just want to let you know that I've gone from 2 pills a day and 3 times a day for insulin plus overnight to occasionally 1 or 2 pills a day.
Wow.
I got lucky, or you on top of it.
Nah, I think I'm on top of it, Tom. How long did it take you to do that?
Motion, yeah.
Yeah, how long was that?
I said I was taking that motion.
How long ago did you start the process that we talked about?
I'd say 2 or 3 months ago.
Isn't that amazing? 2 or 3 months. The money you're saving, the stress you're taking off your body. Most type 2 diabetics, if you read the research, can reduce or eliminate the need for medication in about 2 to 3 months by following that advice. So, Tom, I'm really glad you called. I do appreciate that.
2 basic principles: control your diet and good exercise program.
See how easy that was, Tom? Right? Oh, great. I'm so proud of you, man. Keep up the good work. Thanks so much. Yeah, and folks, a lot of folks will call in and mention this throughout this show and my other shows. If you go to my website, just type in the search bar the issue that you're having. We've probably done a show on it. We've got over 1,000 shows there. And the website, again, is drjoe.com. All right, let's call us, 844-44-Dr. Joe, if you have a question. James, how can we make your day better?
Hey, I just had a question regarding CBD oil. There's not a whole lot of information on it. It seems like relatively new.
Sure.
But if you're not experiencing chronic pain, is there any benefit to taking it?
Well, first of all, I don't like it. It affects what's called the cannabinoid system. I was just a guest speaker at a conference here in Atlanta, and I was the keynote speaker for the conference on CBD oil, so I'm very familiar with this. It affects what's called the cannabinoid system, and the cannabinoids are chemicals that are found in hemp and marijuana. I don't like the name cannabinoid system because what happens is we discovered the cannabinoid system while they were researching pot. So they said, well, we're using cannabinoids, and we found it with that. Let's call it the cannabinoid system. I don't like the name because you're always associated with that. So cannabinoids, there's over 100 different types of cannabinoids. They can help calm you down. They can help the brain work better. They can help with pain. So by taking it, if you don't have a specific issue, I don't think that's a good idea. And the reason is, whenever you start putting an external chemical into the body, it can affect your body's own natural processes. Like if I take, painkillers. Well, eventually, if I start to come off the painkillers, my body stops producing its own natural painkillers. If you have a problem, I wouldn't recommend doing it, but the research is pretty clear. The CBD oil works pretty well. Make sure you get a good one, though. It's got to be full spectrum and organic.
To follow up on that, I've heard from, I forget what source, but it said if you use CBD oil, if you get the one that's extracted from the actual marijuana plant, rather than the one that's extracted from the hemp plant, it's much more effective. And they can actually filter out the THC.
It's you can filter out the THC, absolutely, but it's essentially the same thing. The cannabidiol is pretty much the same thing. So, Gary, you have a thought on this one?
Yeah, it's going to depend on the lineage of the plant. It's going to depend on how well it was grown. It's going to depend on what's available to be pulled out of it. So
yeah, there's male and female hemp plants and marijuana plants. How was it extracted? Was it organic? Was it not organic? So the answer is, if you get a good quality CBD oil, it's going to do the same as a marijuana plant if you get the CBD oil.
Okay. And what sort of dose would you start at? Because there's 100 different kinds of doses out there, but if you were, I weigh 240 pounds, is that?
Yeah.
Where would you start there?
I would say follow the recommendations, and that's the thing, is right now there's not enough research to standardize this. So you're 240 pounds, you might respond very well to the dosage that's recommended on the bottle. You may have to up that a little bit. You may have to down it a little bit. So right now, because it's not synthetic, and that's the thing, like my supplements that I make are non-synthetic. So people say, well, every time I buy Super Greens or Essential Source, it might be a little different color. That's a good sign. That means it's not standardized. Synthetically, we can standardize it. So, but there's no harm in taking too much of the CBD oil, which is what's nice. So start with the recommended dose, and you can always go up from there.
Okay. Thank you for your help.
Appreciate the call. Yeah, folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, standing in for Mark. If you have any healthcare questions, 844-44-Dr.Joe. So we started the show out by talking about the new federal recommendations to tell doctors not to be so stingy with their opioids. And so once again, now you as a consumer, me as a doctor, I'm confused too. It's like, wait a minute, you told me to pull back on the opioids and try non-opioid drugs, like non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. Now they're saying, well, yeah, you could kind of give a little more opioids. It's not that big a deal. But here's the thing. You might become an addict and you don't know it. That's why the opioids are so dangerous. Folks, got to go to a break. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, standing in for Mark Aram. If you have any healthcare questions, that's what we're talking about today. 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. My website, drjoe.com. We have over 1,000 hours of podcasts there. I have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge in the Atlanta area. So if you'd like to make an appointment to come see us for pain, digestion, nutrition advice, you can just go to the website, drjoe.com. I'm more than happy to set up an appointment for you. And do me a favor, tell your friends about the show. We still got three more segments of the show. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We'll be right back. There we go. All right. How's social media doing today? Anybody out there?
Yeah, I got a question.
It's a Popup Show. I didn't know if anybody tuned in or not.
What do you think about the new torque release technique?
It's not new. It works very well, but it doesn't work any better or any worse than the other chiropractic techniques. Now, some people respond differently to different chiropractic techniques. We have 6 doctors in our offices. Every single day, we meet and discuss patients multiple times a day. Dr. Gale's seeing a patient. Hey, listen, I got a problem with shoulder. Let me have Dr. Irwin take a look at it. I might be seeing a patient. I may grab Dr. Sam or Dr. Cat or Dr. Amy and say, hey, listen, what's your thoughts on this? So we put together 6 minds coming together to work on a patient. So torque release is a good technique, but if the other techniques work just as well, it depends on the patient and how they're going to respond. So.
I think this one deserves an answer from you and Dr. Joe.
Okay. Wow. Six callers hold it up. So.
If I take Super Greens and drink or eat nothing but beer and coffee, will I lose weight?
Probably yes.
I mean, you'll pee a lot.
You'll pee a lot. Caffeine is a stimulant, so it'll increase your metabolism.
Stimulant and a diuretic.
Exactly. So you'll pee to death. You'll poop to death. You're losing weight. Yes. Will you be healthy? Absolutely not. Katie Kylie, welcome by. Hey, Katie. Yeah, it's not a good way to lose weight, but probably an anti-Dr. Joe would say, absolutely, and do some heroin too to really speed up your metabolism. That would be anti-Dr. Joe, not me. So. I'm imitating the guy who imitates me now.
Watch out, Pete might come storming in.
Did you just say that? That was funny.
Well, technically, yes.
Yeah, technically I did, yes. But it wasn't me. It was me doing it. All right, any questions?
Several.
Wow, how cool.
Got some loyal followers.
I love that.
We have bunnies in the audience.
We have bunnies in the audience?
2.
Garrett missed that.
Well, in my opinion, that's what the government wants. More needed people. Needy, I don't know.
Needy, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to find an alternative.
The alternative is chiropractic care, and that's why so many patients, doctors, pain management doctors, spine centers, neurologists. In fact, Garrett and I sat down today and we talked about how we're going to put together a business proposal to go into these medical centers and say, listen, let us just set up a clinic in your clinic, and let's see if we can work with you there. Because so many doctors want to work with us. It's actually becoming a little overwhelming that so many medical doctors, surgeons, physical therapists want to be on the Dr. Joe bandwagon because our results are just off the chart. And they really know that, hitching their wagon to us is really going to increase their credibility. So we're trying to decide who we're going to work with and who not. But.
And the overall goal is to take medicine from, what's the metaphor I used? An emissions test versus an oil change.
That's exactly right. Emissions test will tell you something's wrong. A mechanic will actually fix the problem. Yeah. So we're the mechanics. Yeah, we went in there and fixed the problem. We fixed the digestive system, the nervous system. Man, the phones are just lighting up. Okay.
Chiropractic care saved me from getting surgery.
That's right. Yeah. Can I say your story? Okay. Sierra was told she needed jaw surgery, and luckily Garrett and her both of them started working with us, and we started working on her jaw and she didn't need surgery. So, and that jaw surgery is a big problem, painful.
9 to 11 months recovery.
Yes. And did you know the cost?
Take a hammer to your jaw.
Yeah, the cost I'm sure would have been
I'm
50,
sure
60,000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought it was over 10 grand just even with your insurance.
Oh yeah, it's just the consultation with the doctor is like $3,000. Just the initial consultation. To see
Amazing. To find out if he can even work on you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to see what he wanted to do.
Garrett, raise our prices immediately. Yes.
Okay, so my friend's mother, her cancer came back. I'm not sure what kind.
Okay.
But I was thinking of gifting her Dr. Joe's Greens, an essential source.
Yes.
And also black seed oil. Do you think this may help in any way?
Absolutely. And can I say it's going to cure the cancer? Absolutely not. But yeah, you want to do everything you can. It's a bottom of the knife, 2 outs for her. She has no choice. You got to do everything you can. If I was diagnosed with cancer, well, I won't be because I eat a good life. I live a good life. Get chiropractic care. I eat a good life too. I take Super Greens, an essential source. But yeah, the Super Greens and essential source help alkalize the system, so it's really powerful stuff. So that's step one. If you want to send her to come see us, we do a whole workup on her then. But starting with Super Greens and essential source minimum, and adrenal support, because your adrenal glands burn out from the stress from of the cancer. So.
And I would say it's pretty simple. Just take care of the body in the best possible way. Like the body does the rest.
Yeah. Good, normally functioning nervous system, a normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. That's a healthcare plan.
What is the quote on our wall behind the front desk?
Power that made the body heals the body? Something like that, yeah. So when the sperm and the egg came together, the first thing that was formed was an electrical impulse. And that created life. And those electrical impulses are traveling through your nervous system. And so as long as those nervous system, those impulses are getting back and forth to the brain, chances are your body's going to work at a much higher level than if it's not. And then you add the chemistry to it as well. That's what makes us different than everybody, well, not everybody else, but most doctors. We add the chemistry to it. We add the chiropractic. We work on the organs themselves. We can actually adjust some of the organs. So we kind of put together a whole approach. We had a meeting the other day, Garrett and I. And at the end of the meeting, the fellow said, Dr. Joe, you guys have come up with a new branch of healthcare. Oh.
Here we go.
Joe here, standing in for Mark Aram. Hope Mark is enjoying his day off. Friday, man. How exciting is he? A 3-day weekend. How cool is that? I do a show on Sunday night, 7 to 9 here on WSB. It's all about health and wellness. And on my website, I have over 1,000 hours of podcast, drjoe.com. And what usually happens when I cover for Mark is we just get a ton of questions. So let's just go back to the questions. Kimberly, how can we make your day better?
Hey, how are you today?
Good. Got about 2 minutes. Real quick.
Oh, okay. So, Raynaud's syndrome.
Yes.
I was diagnosed with it, or not diagnosed, but realized I had it almost 10 years ago and understand that it's triggered by cold.
Yes.
And in the last month, when I work out in the hot, sweating, it all of a sudden started again, and it's severe.
Okay. Every case of Raynaud's syndrome or Raynaud's phenomenon, we used to call it, it's a pinched nerve in the neck that's causing it. So the pinched nerve in the neck controls the nerve and blood supply into the hand. And so when it gets cold, you're not getting proper circulation, and so the blood vessels constrict, and you get cold hands. But in most cases, when we work on the neck, adjust the neck and then adjust the wrist itself, in most cases, we get good results. And then in a case like yours, I would add nitric oxide as a supplement. It's on the website, drjoe.com. Nitric oxide opens up the blood vessels and increases circulation. So Dr. Joe Super.
Wonderful. So nothing to worry about.
Well, if you come fix it, then it's not. If you don't fix it, then it is. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it looks like I need to come see you so you can fix it for me.
If you want to make an appointment, folks, 844-44 Dr. Joe during business hours, or the website, you can do it right online, drjoe.com. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, Kimberly. I
Thank
appreciate
you so
it.
much.
And the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. I'm mostly in the Marietta office. But we'd love to see you because so many people come to us and say, why didn't I do this sooner? And that's a big problem. Got a lot of callers here, but I don't want to start on another call because I knew the music was going to start. Mr. Longoria, he's an amazing man. So, folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito standing in for Mark. If you have a question, we have 2 more segments of the show, 844-44-Dr. Joe. The supplements we talk about, the podcast, are all on the website, drjoe.com. But what I want you to do, too, is keep your radio tuned to WSB on Sunday nights from 7 to 9. We're doing a show on heart disease. Surprising causes of heart disease, not what you think. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, standing in for Mark. We'll be right back. Okay.
All right, I got a bunch to get through.
All right, I got a bunch here, too. Man, it's hot topic tonight.
Is it okay for a 16-year-old to do intermittent fasting?
Yes.
And about the woman with cancer, she's elderly, but I will advise her to come see you. Are you familiar with black seed oil?
Yes, very much so.
What do you think?
Great. Make sure it's cool. Make sure it's a good pure form. Like anything else. My grandfather, my German grandfather, always said, always buy the best. It's always cheaper. So make sure it's a good pure form. Make sure it's organic, and you're going to do okay. If you buy the cheap stuff at a big box store, chances are you're not going to get the results and say those supplements didn't work. No, the quality of the supplement didn't work. So.
Do olives and olive oil have enough omega-3?
No.
What's an alternative?
Algae oil. Okay, in fact, we're coming out with algae.
Working on it.
We're working. When's it going to come out? Any idea when we're going to launch it?
We're pretty close.
Okay, we're pretty close. So next few weeks, hopefully, we're going to launch our own Dr. Joe's algae oil. So keep watching the website.
We're just finalizing the label, and it should be back from print within a few weeks. We gotta have it on the website in about a month and a half.
There you go. Yeah. So the algae oil, I take about 1,000. I take about a gram of algae oil a day. And I finally, I was tired of buying other people's products. I said, let me create my own that I know is going to be really high quality, and that'll be out there soon.
All right, I have a bunion, my
Yes.
big toe, and one is forming on my little toe.
Yes.
Now, how could chiropractic help?
1/4 of all the bones in your body are in your feet. There's 206 bones in the body. 1/4 of them are in your feet. So if any of those bones comes out of place, it's going to cause your gait to shift. Your gait as you're walking. And as the gait shifts, it puts stress on the joints, and the joints then move out of place, and that's what bunions are. Bunions are misaligned bones. And then the body forms a callus around it. So depending how bad it is, chiropractic care, absolutely. Sometimes we have to send you to a podiatrist to get the bunion shaved off and then realign the feet as well. So hopefully we can realign it and not have to go to surgery.
You think it could be from a misaligned pelvis?
Oh, of course. Anything can misalign. Your neck can misalign, which will your pelvis off, throw your feet off. Yeah.
Lastly, from the person would be, do you adjust the atlas?
Absolutely. 24 vertebrae in the spine. I adjust every one of them. I can adjust any one of the 206 bones in the body. And all my doctors can.
And what are your thoughts on baking soda water?
It's okay, but be really careful with that because you can go too alkaline. Some people say, well, Dr. Joe, my body's acidic. I hear this acid is a bad place to be, so I'm going to alkalize my system. Bam, baking soda water. It's really powerful. So I would recommend if you're going to do it, get yourself some pH paper. Don't do it without the pH paper. pH paper will tell you how much acid you have in your body. And so what you do is you pee a little bit in the morning, wave the pH paper through it, and it's going to have a color chart. Compare the color chart to what your pH paper says, and you should be 6.5 to 7.0. If you're 6.5 or lower, you're too acidic. If you're above 7.0, and this is where the baking soda can cause a problem, you go into alkalosis. Too much alkalinity. Not a good idea. So be careful if you're using it and use only a little bit at a time and then monitor and measure it because it can be very dangerous if you do it wrong. So. Or you just change your diet. Take super greens and essential source. Eat more plant-based. Stay away from alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, and you'll fall right into that Goldilocks zone of pH. So you don't have to worry about the baking soda.
Skip the steroids, hit the gym.
There you go. That's right.
And how do you feel about collagen?
It's okay, but you probably don't need it. Because here's the thing with amino acids. All protein, everything is protein. Carrots, celery, I think water is the only thing that doesn't have amino acids. When it gets into your stomach, if your stomach is healthy, your stomach is breaking the proteins into amino acids. So it's dissolving them. Then amino acids go into your small intestine, pancreas helps a little bit, and then amino acids get absorbed and get distributed throughout the body. So the key is usually not that you need more collagen, the key is you got to have good stomach acid to break down the proteins. And so you can take Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes for that, and that'll help stimulate your digestive enzymes.
We can eat something raw at every meal.
Eat something raw at every meal, which also has digestive enzymes in it. So if you do both of those, chances are you're not going to need the collagen. And chiropractic care, because many times you need collagen because the joints are wearing out. Why are the joints wearing out? Well, they're out of alignment. If the tires on your car are out of alignment, they wear out. If the bones are out of alignment, they wear out. And that's one of the 3 things that happens when a bone moves out of place. It can pinch a nerve that hurts. It almost always pinches a nerve that doesn't feel pain. These nerves control the organs, and the joints always wear out.
So whenever you have somebody with arthritis, it's a misaligned vertebrae always, or some joint, foot, knee, ankle, whatever. Get the bones back in place. Stop trying to build the cartilage with the tires out of line. Good analogy. All right.
And should I start my day with a glass of cold water or a glass of warm water as a limit?
Just plain old regular room temperature water is fine.
You were going to say tap.
I was going to say tap. You're right.
Not everybody has clean tap.
Not everybody has a Pure Life water filter like I do in my house, which filters every drop of the water out. Yes. So, yeah, I have a whole house water filter. It's about, almost as big as me. It has two canisters. It's amazing. You shower with it. The soap. It's funny because you think the soap isn't rinsing off, but your skin is so smooth that the soap is rinsed off. Your hair comes out better. Things taste better. It's expensive, but it's worth it. So.
Well, it's got an upfront cost, but it's pretty much.
That's it. Once it's up front, I mean, if you're drinking bottled water and all this other stuff, it way more pays than itself in water costs and health. So.
Probably better on your pipes too.
Probably is. You're right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So always buy the best. It's always cheaper. Mm-hmm. Hey, Belinda, I had dinner with Belinda last night, as a matter of fact. Hey, Belinda.
And that's it.
That's it. You said you had a bunch of them for me.
I did. You knocked them out.
Just speed.
I know, speed answering. She said I had a bunch. I want to get them all in here. So, all right, folks, lines are open. If you have questions, you're first in line. I got a ton here.
What'd you eat this morning?
What did I eat this morning? I had Super Greens and Essential Source, of course, which I always do. I had an orange. And what else did I have?
You had an early lunch with that tofu.
Yeah, I did. I had some. I took some tofu and I just put a little olive oil, salt, and pepper on it, and put it in a broiler. So I had that for lunch, and then I was starving when I went home today. So it's like, well, we're going out to dinner after this. So I was like, am I gonna eat? We're not gonna eat. I don't know if you guys are available for dinner or not. So I said, all right. So I just what I had some snap peas. I had a cabbage salad with some sesame seeds on it, a raspberry vinaigrette. And I had something cooked, I forgot. Oh, I tried this new ice cream. 100 calories per pint, all vegan. It's not very good. It was just,
Most of that stuff isn't it?
Yeah, and I was hoping that we had the Holy Grail here, but you had to buy 6 pints of it. And they shipped it from, Massachusetts or something. So I got 6 pints, I dug in, I was like, I was bummed. That was it.
Salad for lunch today.
But we're going to Panko tonight, right? Right on West Paces Ferry. Anybody want to join us? Panko, West Paces Ferry, yeah? West Peachtree, I'm sorry. Not West Paces, West Peachtree. 8:15?
Yeah.
Invite everybody. Come on. What the heck? We'll have a party. Get to see Garrett and Sierra, the good-looking people in the crowd. See, you don't get to see, they're good-looking and I'm in front of the camera. What's wrong with this picture?
And yes, it is worth it to do reverse osmosis. And in some cases, it can be a little bit cheaper on the water filters. Because you can get just a reverse osmosis filter for the sink.
Right.
It's better to do the whole house, but I mean, just the sink is
perfect. If that's
like
all you can
a fourth
do.
or a fifth of the cost.
Yes. I support that 100%, but like I said, and it's cool when you eat a plant-based diet, get chiropractic care, you save so much money on everything. On meds, on medical doctors, on visit, healthcare, food. You save so much money when you eat a healthy lifestyle. You can afford these extravagances like a whole house water filter.
And here's one. Love you, Dr.Joe. I've been drinking Super Greens and Essential Source since my colon cancer was removed. I ate less meats, more veggies. I even make my own turmeric capsules.
Wow, you go.
Feel great and hope to make an appointment soon.
Come see us, man. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. And if you like what you're hearing, folks, you can always give us a rating on Google. Never hurts.
What's the name of the, do you know what the name of the ice cream is?
Wink.
Wink.
Yes. We're streaming so I can use brand name, Joe. It was just okay. I'd rather just take a frozen banana and some frozen blueberries and some coconut milk and whip it up. All right, we got Cheryl Castro with us now. I've done shows with Cheryl before. She's wonderful. Here we go.
This hour of the Mark Arum Show brought to you by Publix.
Is a pleasure.
Hey folks, I am not Mark Arum. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, standing in for Mark. Mark has a Friday night off, man. But you know what? Longoria has to work. Charlie has to work. How come you guys don't get the day off? What's wrong with that, man? It's not fair, right? Jeez.
We're not making Mark Arum money.
That's what it is, yes. So anyway, my show's on Sunday nights from 7 to 9 here on WSB. So just keep your radio on WSB. There's absolutely no reason to change the tuner. And I'm on 7 to 9 live doing exactly what I'm doing here, answering questions and covering hot topics in the news. So if you do have a healthcare question, number is 844-44-Dr. Joe, 844-44-DRJOE, or the usual number, 404-872-0750. That works too. Who was on hold first? Here we go. Kendrick, how can we make your day better?
Hi. I was just, so me and my mother both were diagnosed with AS, and reticular spondylitis or whatever.
Ankylosing spondylitis, correct.
Yes. And me personally, I'm 28, and I've had 51 surgeries. I'm in kidney failure as well.
Wow.
And I've had shoulder reconstruction and a bunch of surgeries. And just from a point of view, me and her both share the same allergies to opiates, codeine, and synthetic codeine.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't until recent years that our personal doctor was able to find a, quote, painkiller for us, subscriptive.
Right.
Narcotic, without us getting severely sick or allergic.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And one thing I did was I self-medicated for years with marijuana, and I still do to this day. My mom is over 50, never, partaked in that at all, and she ran out of her prescription. Long story short, she ran out of prescription, and she finally called me and said, hey, I'm having trouble.
All right, let's light up.
And,
okay.
Yeah, so I do the personal oils as far as that.
Good.
My only thing is I've tried CBD.
Right.
And Steve's tried CBD, and it's just not, and I hate saying this, but it's just not the same.
Yeah, I understand.
As certain products I'm able to get.
What's your question?
Why isn't it more apparent that, marijuana is a better option than the opiates as far as,
Okay,
there are a lot of things that the opiates provide.
I understand.
It makes people sick.
Okay, well, let me back up a little bit. Ankylosing spondylitis, for those of folks who don't know what it is the spine actually starts to grow together. And we call it candle.
My mother, I apologize. My mom, she's already got 8 that's completely
fused. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me hold on, Kendrick. Let me tell the audience what it is, because I know and you know, but they don't. So the spine actually starts to grow together. It's an autoimmune condition where the body actually starts attacking itself. The only physical treatment that I know of for that is chiropractic care, because you have to keep those joints mobile. And I've had people with ankylosing spondylitis. I've been in practice, I've seen patients for 35 years, and they're still doing fine. I've had other patients who came in later when the bones were fusing together, and they didn't do as well. The damage is that it can fuse the whole body, and you have trouble breathing. So I would strongly advise you consider chiropractic care for that to keep those joints mobile. It's really, really important. Number 2.
If it makes you feel better, I did actually recently start getting into chiropractor.
Good.
Or chiropractor.
Okay.
And I will tell you this from listening to you on WSB for years. It's actually amazing. So anybody out there with AS or anybody with that condition, I highly recommend getting to a chiropractor, because it has helped me a lot. But my mom is kind of above and beyond that.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, but it wouldn't hurt for her to do it. Governor Kemp just signed into law. You can get medical marijuana use now, so that's going to help a lot for you guys. And then also, you got to change your diet. If you're eating things like alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, these are all inflammatory foods, and that's going to cause the autoimmune condition, the ankylosing or any pain, to be worse. So going to a more plant-based diet, I want you to have something raw at every meal. And I say raw: broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocado, salad. Things like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're supplements. They're 2 powders. They're on the website, drjoe.com. They help alkalize the system. And as a pain management expert, we recommend a lot of nutritional work for our patients to get the pain under control. But something raw at every meal, supplements. You might also want to consider Dr. Joe's nitric oxide, because that opens up the blood vessels and increases circulation. And I've had a lot of pain patients, when they take that, do really well. So there are alternatives as well. So I'm happy with chiropractic care. Now you got to do some dietary changes to get this thing working right. Okay? Oh, digestive enzymes.
Fantastic.
Digestive enzymes also bring down the inflammation too. All right, thanks, Kendrick. And folks, all the supplements we talk about, digestive enzymes, the Super Greens, the Essential Source, nitric oxide, a bunch of others, those are on the website, drjoe.com. If you come to our offices and want to get them, you save the shipping costs. So we can ship them to you tomorrow or Monday, or you can just come to the office and pick them up. Let's see here. A bunch of callers. 844-44 Dr. Joe, if you've got a question. Josh, how can we make your day better?
Yeah, yes, sir. My wife is 29 years old. She had a seizure about 7 or 8 weeks ago. First one, and she's having tremors at night. They started well before the seizures, but that's got me thinking about it now.
Sure.
I don't know if they're related. It's similar to watching a dog dream, if that makes any sense.
I totally get it. Yep.
The movements aren't in any particular direction. They're not any. She's not running. She's not fighting. She's just twitching.
Sure, I understand. What usually happens with that, you go into something called sleep paralysis. When you go to sleep, your body goes into paralysis state, so you don't act out your dreams. The one muscle, some of the muscles that don't are your jaw, and that's why a lot of people grind their teeth when they're sleeping, because the one muscle they have control over is still their jaw. With her, she's probably not going into that deep sleep paralysis, And in cases like that, what I usually find is the atlas, the top bone in the neck, is out of place. Because the brain, you have the cerebrum in the front, the cerebellum in the back, and then what's called the brain stem that comes down into your spinal cord. If the atlas rotates, it can put pressure on the brain stem, and that can affect the movements and the seizures and the tremors.
Okay.
So many times, not always, but in many cases, we find the atlas out of place. We put it back in place with chiropractic adjustments, and that many times calms it down. Then we got to look at her diet. You know, is she doing coffee before she goes to bed? I don't know this. I mean, you know, is she doing chocolate? Is she doing tea? Any type of stimulant, she may not be able to get into that deep sleep.
So no, she does coffee in the morning, but nothing.
Okay, good.
Sugar, no caffeine.
Okay. And with her, I'd want to do a nutritional analysis, see if there's any deficiencies, calcium deficiency, magnesium deficiencies, and then we can figure out what's going on with her and try to get to the cause of the problem, not just treat the symptoms. But yeah, we've seen this before.
Correct.
Okay?
Okay. So if I go to a chiropractor, you need to adjust the atlas?
Atlas, yeah. Make sure you go to somebody who knows what again, different chiropractors do different things. I only know what my team of doctors do, and they're trained by me, so I know they're doing what I teach them, and plus what they do. So if you can come see us, we'd love to see you. If not, I'd definitely recommend chiropractic care for her.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Folks, Dr. Joe Esposito standing in for Mark Aram. The number here at the studio, 844-44-Dr.Joe, which rings through to my offices during business hours, or the regular WSB number, 404-872-0750. Jason, how can we make your day better?
Well, I was curious. So 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with colitis.
Yep.
And I overcame that, and then I couldn't digest gluten for like 6 years.
Sure.
I've recently overcome that. But my stomach has never been the same.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to you for a while, and I've decided, you know, I probably need to come see you.
Yeah.
But I don't have insurance or anything like that, so I'm kind of wondering what you can do for self-pay.
Okay, we probably 40-50% of our patients are self-pay. I had a patient come in today. She said, Dr. Joe, you don't take my insurance. I said, no. You have out-of-network benefits, so we do take your insurance. We're just not listed in the book because out-of-network benefits pay us better, and you have a lower copay than in-network benefits. Very confusing. The other thing is, I used to say a year's worth of treatment in our office was less than 1 day in the hospital. I was wrong. I cut my mouth a couple of years ago, maybe about 7 years ago, and the girl I was dating at the time said, your mouth is bleeding bad, we got to take you to the emergency room. I went to the emergency room, doctor came in, it stopped bleeding, he looked at it, he says, it stopped bleeding? I said, yeah. He said, you want a tetanus shot? I said, no. He said, okay, if it gets worse, come back and see us. That's how long the visit was. No kidding. Turns out 3 hours in the hospital is less than a year's worth of treatment in our office. So it's very, very affordable, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be getting the care. So if you go to the website, we explain all our fees and how we do it with insurance, without insurance, and it's all there on the website. Or you can call the office at this number during business hours. Even tomorrow, between 9 and 12, we'll have somebody at the office. We're seeing patients, and we can get that set up for you. How about that?
Okay.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's a big issue, folks, because I've been doing this for seeing patients for 35 years, and the insurance companies change almost daily, it seems. You know, we had HMOs, then we had PPOs, and then we had in-network, out-of-network benefits. The bottom line is this. It's your life. And people say, well, Dr. Joe, I know you're in-network, but I have a $6,000 deductible. So really, you don't have insurance. You have catastrophic insurance. And then, well, Dr. Joe, I needed surgery or chiropractic care or whatever, and the insurance company says they're not going to pay for it. So you got to take responsibility for your own health at some point. You can't just say, well, my insurance company doesn't cover it, I'm going to suffer and die. And I have people do that. And then they'll come to me later on and say, when it gets worse, and say, Dr. Joe, anything, I don't care what it is, I don't care what it costs, please take me on as a patient. And we will, but the sooner you get to it, the better. That's the whole thing with healthcare. The quicker you get to the treatment, the better you're going to be. And that's why our offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge, we want to work with you. We want to do everything we can within reason to get you guys under care. And whether you have insurance, don't have insurance, and if you've ever been in a car accident. Here's the thing with car accidents. If the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. Had a patient come in the other day, it was her fault. She walks in, she says, I got in an accident, it was my fault. Okay, great, we'll see you as a regular patient. You know, there's nobody to bill except your health insurance. No, my car insurance doesn't cover it, I'm not going to get care. I said, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. You're hurt, and you have health insurance. No, my car insurance doesn't cover it. And some do, some don't. So a couple of weeks later, she comes back in begging us to take her back as a patient. Oh my gosh, you were right, the problem got much worse. So if you have pain, chances are it's going to get worse. If you have digestive issues, acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, the stomach, I know we talk a lot about chiropractic, but the stomach can push up against the diaphragm. And if the stomach pushes up against the diaphragm, you may not be digesting your food properly. And one of the topics Garrett and I discussed before we went on the air today was how many celebrities are going into mental breakdown and are going into mental institutions. And what happens a lot of times with that is, you got something to say, Garrett?
Yeah, no, Pink just went into a mental hospital. Britney Spears just checked out.
Yeah, so it's a big issue, yeah. And pop culture, this is something that people go, oh my gosh, even they're real. They're regular people. Yes, they are. And I'm not saying I know what happened with them, but in many times, if you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, the stomach is pushed up into the diaphragm. And the stomach's job is to take proteins and break them into amino acids. The amino acid tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain. Serotonin is your happy neurotransmitter. So you may not be able to experience happiness or be able to focus or enjoy life because you might have digestive problems. Now, here's a question. Raise your hands. I can't see you, so it doesn't matter. How many of you have some emotional problems, anxiety, depression, ADD, and you also have digestive problems, acid reflux, burping, gas, bloating? Most of you. Because that's how the body works. You can't just make the brain doesn't miraculously make neurotransmitters. The brain has to get the raw materials, and the raw materials come from your proteins in your digestive system. So a couple of things you can do about that. Number one is, we do this, I don't know how many times we do it every day. We adjust the stomach. We pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. And then the stomach is below the diaphragm, it's able to do its job. I also had one patient, I was working on that, and she got great results, but not as much as I wanted to. But she's probably 55, 60 years old. I put her on digestive enzymes, Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes. She came in the other day and she high-fived me. She's been a patient forever. And she high-fives me and she goes, that stuff is awesome. She goes, oh my God, it's a whole new world. I'm able to play with my grandkids again. Because as you get older, your digestive enzymes drop. You don't break down food like you used to. And so you do, if you want to fight the aging process, you probably need a little help. I take digestive enzymes whenever I have a cooked meal. So if I have a cooked meal, it's always digestive enzymes. Last night I went out to a dinner with one of my medical doctor friends, and Belinda Skelton. And I said I'm a vegan. It was a steakhouse. And they brought me asparagus and broccoli. Now, I was a little disappointed. It was only steamed. They could have done something more with it. But it was steamed lightly, so I didn't need digestive enzymes. It wasn't cooked to death. But whenever you're eating meats and dairy products and things like that, it's always a good idea to take some digestive enzymes. And most people report it's amazing. But if we can pull the stomach away from the diaphragm, get the stomach breaking proteins into amino acids, you're able to make those neurotransmitters. And those neurotransmitters are the things that make the brain work. Pretty cool stuff. Folks, Mr. Longoria is telling me I got to go to a break. If you have any healthcare questions, we have one more quick segment, 844-44-Dr.Joe. If I don't get to your questions, send me your questions through the website, drjoe.com. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. And if you want to make an appointment to come see us, drjoe.com. All the supplements are there, and over 1,000 hours of podcasts with shows like this are on the website. It's drjoe.com. Hey, folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, standing in for Mark Aram. Hey, tell your friends about the show. We're going to be right back.
All right. Okay.
Few questions.
Go ahead.
Diet and supplements for someone just diagnosed with hyperthyroidism?
You probably want to come see us for that, okay? Diet is always get off the bad foods. You got to get a water filter for that because fluorine and chlorine act as haloids, and haloids are like iodine. They block up your thyroid. The thyroid needs iodine. Haloids, like iodine and chloride, can block it up so you can't utilize iodine. So you got to get a water filter, bottom line. And is it on the website yet? Pure Life?
It's not. We're still working on the landing page.
Okay.
That'll be up soon.
But that's a good one. The other thing, Super Greens and Essential Source both have sea vegetables in them. Sea vegetables are an excellent source of iodine. Most people in America are extremely iodine deficient because what do you eat that has iodine? One thing. Garrett, what is it? Salt. Sierra wins. Sierra gets the bell. You don't get the bell. Sierra wins.
Iodized salt.
Iodized salt, but it's not a good form of iodine. It's not the purest form. So, that's right. She's smart. See? She's better looking than you, and she's smarter than you. So there. So you can't see that, folks. We're gonna get you guys up here one day. We're gonna do a reverse one day. I'm gonna put you here, and I'm gonna be there. So you gotta get iodine in your body, and then you want to check the fourth cervical nerve. That's the nerve supply to the thyroid. So in a case like that, that's where I start. Then I monitor the thyroid. If it doesn't change, then we can put you on a whole thyroid protocol. So, but we can do the thyroid protocol to start if you want, but you gotta call the office for that one because I don't have everything listed here.
Do you have a cold pressed guarana? I'm trying not to do the cola.
No, I don't. Okay.
Now, what else was there?
Instagram's quiet tonight, man. It's usually Instagram's
There's
busy.
a lot of people that are coming through, but nobody's making any questions.
Talk to me about asthma.
Asthma. You want to check the seventh cervical nerve, and first thoracic, that's the nerve supply to the bronchial tubes in the lungs. I've had people in full-blown asthma attack, not being able to breathe. I lay them on a table, I adjust them, and they're able to breathe again. So you always got to check that. Then you got to check for allergic reactions. You want to get off all wheat and all dairy because that can cause mucus and inflammatory reactions. And then you want to check the diaphragm because sometimes it's not true asthma. The stomach is up against the diaphragm and you're not able to breathe properly. So we pull the stomach away from the diaphragm so the diaphragm can breathe. We adjust the nerve supply to the area. We look at the dietary components. In most cases, we get pretty good results.
Now, is there a natural treatment for carpal tunnel syndrome?
Yes, absolutely. A while ago, carpal tunnel syndrome was covered by insurances, and there was a big rush, I should say, of people getting carpal tunnel syndrome surgery. Most of the time, it doesn't work because they open up the canal here. Okay, they release the carpal tunnel. Carpal are your wrist bones. There's a tunnel. Many times, the hamate bone, which is a wrist bone, has a hook on it. So the hamate bone subluxates or moves backwards, and the hook traps the median nerve. So we can open it up here, but it may be the hamate hook pinching on the median nerve. The other thing we have to look at is the neck, because the nerve supply for the neck goes to the wrist. And in most cases, when the surgery doesn't work, we adjust the neck, and it works wonders. So I'd rather start conservatively first before we do anything beyond that. I personally had 3 carpal tunnel syndrome patients today, and I don't see a lot of patients anymore. So I don't know how many my other doctors saw, but we see carpal tunnel all the time. Yeah.
Which reminds me, would you pull on my hand a little bit after the show?
Time to adjust your wrist? Okay, we're ready. Yeah, Garrett had a boo-boo a couple of weeks ago, and he had MRIs and everything else, and wanted to do cortisone shots, and the bottom line was it's just bruised, so we got to adjust it. If you're ready to get it adjusted, I'm ready. I didn't want to do it until it was all swollen. I want swelling to go down. So.
Okay, what to do for parasites in the liver? I take milk thistle, coffee, enemas. Enemas. I didn't realize that. Garlic and coconut liver cleanse. I feel movement in the liver on full moon and after.
Sounds like you're doing everything right. The next thing I would do is check the nerve supply to the liver and then check the gallbladder as well. But the coffee enemas will help the gallbladder too. There are other Liverplex is one of them we use from Standard Process, so I may want to consider some more liver supplements, and then check the nerve supply to the liver. Those are the next things I would do.
Favorite vitamin C?
Super Green's an essential source.
Favorite form of vitamin C?
Oh, pure vitamin C, not ascorbic acid, like rose hips or something like that. It's got to be pure vitamin C. Ascorbic acid is only 1/8 of the vitamin C molecule. It doesn't work nearly as well as pure vitamin C. If you're eating good diet, Super Green's an essential source. You don't need any extra though.
Now, I believe this person missed it, or maybe you missed it. What plants have iodine?
Seaweed is the best thing. Okay, sea vegetable is going to be your best source of iodine. Okay, so that's why seaweed. That's why people like in Japan very seldom is there an iodine problem, and very seldom is there a thyroid problem because they have so much iodine in their diet. We don't eat seaweed, so that's why you have to take things like Super Greens and essential sources.
Seaweed salad?
I love it, man. I know. I went to a party the other day. Where were we? Oh, at the Polaris Neurosurgical, and they had a poke bar. You know, you make your own bowl, and they had seaweed salad. So I love it. I'm eating it all of my teeth, and I'm trying to talk to people. I'm trying to pull it out of my teeth.
Cloves can't help that.
No, you can't cover that up with cloves for bad breath. Oh, here we go. Any topics you want to cover?
Last one, I guess, would be the vegan and meat-free fast food options are growing.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here, standing in for Mark today. Mark has the day off. Lucky him, man. We worked yesterday. He put in a double shift yesterday, didn't he? He worked pretty hard yesterday, so we'll give him that. And Eric Erickson covered 1 hour, and I get to cover the other hour. I'm surrounded by celebrities. And, of course, we have Chuck over there taking calls at 844-44-Dr. Joe. We got Longoria. We got Garrett. We got Sierra here. And my show is on Sunday nights from 7 to 9, and we talk about health and wellness. So if you're just tuning in, that's what the show's all about. And we answer your questions, and we try to give you the information that you need to naturally get well and stay well. And so we cover hot topics, and Garrett has one more topic. I think we could probably sneak one more in before we're out of time today. Well, anything else in the news?
Yeah, there's a lot of new vegan and meat-free fast food options.
Isn't that interesting?
It's getting big.
I saw that Del Taco now has a plant-based taco, and Burger King has a vegan Whopper.
Well, Burger King's always had something of like a veggie patty,
right.
But it was...
Yeah, it was always like, yeah. And I remember years ago having a veggie Whopper, and all it was everything but the meat. And it tasted pretty good, actually, I'll be honest with you. But now all these fast food chains are getting on there. I heard that Kentucky Fried Chicken is looking into a plant-based...
And then what's even crazier, I think it's, Checkers, or what are they, Carl's Jr.?
Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a CBD-infused sauce.
Oh, I heard that, yes. And CBD is okay. It's not marijuana, so please, folks, don't get those too confused. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're out of time. Tune in Sunday nights from 7 to 9. My show is on live. 7 to 9. My website, if you have any questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. We have over 1,000 hours of podcast, audio, and video there. Hey, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We live stream shows like we're streaming right now, and you get to see my pretty face as well. And if you want to make an appointment or get the supplements, go to my website, drjoe.com. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Mark, if you're listening, thanks so much for letting me stand in. I'll talk to you guys Sunday night, 7 to 9 on WSP. Catch you then.
Hey, folks, it's Mark Aram here. Listen, you know our traffic terminology pretty much by heart. The WSB Jam Cam, traffic red alert, gridlock alert, travel advisory. Here's a new phrase I want you to learn. Leak block. Has nothing to do with traffic, but I want you to remember that phrase. Leak block. What's leak block? Well, that's Dr. Roof's proprietary system installed on all